Shut your hole!
Hey, internets! It's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is my life. Hey, everybody! Welcome back to the Dawnbringers. It's been a while. Well, it's been 2 weeks, and then we played, and then it was 2 weeks before that. But we're all here. We didn't have Goblin Katie with us last time, but we do tonight. Hey, the gang's all here. We are excited to all be here. Of course, as soon as I say that, Dan just leaves.
We had everybody here.
We had everybody. This is what it's like being the D&D dad, trying to keep everybody wrangled.
We need one of those like backpack leashes for Dan. Yoink.
This is episode 26 of our 5th season, Dawnbringers Rime of the Frostmaiden. Tonight's episode is called The Island of Solstice. And in just a few moments, I will catch everybody up on a little bit of a recap, especially for Goblin Katie, who kind of missed last session a bit, and for anybody else who may have missed or not be keeping up. If you take a look at the bottom of the screen, you will see we've changed up the overlay just a little bit for consistency across the channel. You'll notice in the lower right-hand corner below Jeremy, the Big Bearded Nerd and D&D Jordan Lee logos. D&D Jordan Lee and Big Bearded Nerd are the other 2/3 of Mini Terrain Domain. And it's absolutely awesome to have the three of us make up Mini Terrain Domain as a whole. Each of us have our own things that we do. Jordan just wrapped up an absolutely amazing... I'm going to shout her out again. I did it on Monday. Jordan had Games for Change, a 3-day, 9-game charity event from Friday through Sunday last weekend with a goal to raise $3,000 for Color of Change. When the stream ended on Sunday night at around, I think it was 11:30 or something like that, the final total was $6,269.69. Nice.
Very nice.
It was very awesome, and almost 1,000 of that came in while they were saying their goodbyes. It was awesome, which put Jordan less than $700 away from the annual goal of $10,000. So congratulations to Jordan and everybody who was a part of that, especially the amazing community that came out in support to make those donations. I got to run a game, I got to play in a game. It was a lot of fun. So be sure to, if you aren't already, be sure to check out Jordan's channel, follow it, and check out all the awesome stuff that she's doing. And then I also put a link to Big Bearded Nerd, who does some awesome stuff with mini painting and has I think a monthly Star Wars game with our friend Neofet. So check them out. If you look down in the lower left-hand corner below Goblin Katie, you will see our channel sponsors. First, you can type in the chat !MTD Claw to check out the Talon and Claw Etsy shop. All kinds of amazing stuff going on there. In fact, there are a pretty freaking sweet set of dice called Thor's. I think it's Thor's Ire that are available for pre-order in the shop. They're only $30. They're absolutely gorgeous dice. Get in there, place your orders, use code MTDClaw at checkout and get 10% off your order and help support the channel. We are also very excited to be partnered up with our friend Keel, who runs Run Right Play. You can type !RWP to bring up that link to Keel's Run Right Play Patreon. It is a community that he has built around collaboration. And he puts out a monthly digital and print zine. The most recent issue features myself and Dwight, the Big Bearded Nerd. Jeremy, I believe you were in there as well. There was a big focus on terrain and crafting for tabletop. So lots of our work was featured in that. head on over to his show or his channel, the Patreon. Check that out. And you can get signed up for that newsletter. Domain dice. Look up above V's head and you'll see that there are 110 domain dice for the Dawnbringers. The domain dice are a fun way that you, the viewer, can participate by tipping $5, cheering 500 bits, subscribing, gift subs, resubs, all that good stuff earns domain dice that the players can use to reroll, make me reroll. They can spend hit dice. They can have some assistance on death saving throws, and they can spend 5 domain dice to for the patron's blessing, which is a super crit, double max damage. They love to use that against the boss battles. And burn through those. I think that was where a lot of them went the last few sessions. Plenty more to spend, but they can always use a few more. So that information will pop up all throughout, and you'll see as we use those. The last thing that I want to talk about is, of course, what we always talk about here. We are very open about mental health. We want to help destigmatize the conversations around mental health. And just let you know that it's okay to not be okay. You might be struggling, but you don't have to do so alone. You can come here to our chat any time of day or night, whether we're streaming or not, doesn't matter. Type in !help, and we have a new, or rather access to a new help site called findahelpline.com. You go in there, you tell them what, just fill in a little field where you're from. That's the only information you have to put in. And then all kinds of mental health services will pop up with links for call centers, text lines, whatever you may need. Please do not hesitate to use that. You matter, and we care about you. So with that, I need to do a quick juggle to the domain dice, since there was a meta sub there for a domain die for you, so that puts you up to 111. So thank you for that. I think it's time for us to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Yay!
That was a dragon roar. I don't know if you heard that. I did. The Dawnbringers have just gotten a long rest after the longest day ever. A day that lasted in real time a couple of months, I think, that we've been in this day, with lots of big battles happening, very little time to get rest as they were just going. Finally finding themselves in a what was once a Durgar castle that, through magical means, came to be flying across the lands of Icewind Dale to the north, while they engaged in battle with the Frostmaiden 1,000 feet in the air. The Frostmaiden flying in on her giant white rock. For a brief time, they fought against, and then were allied with, and then fought against their old friend Vi, who proved to be a very powerful archdruid. And in the last moments when they thought they had the Frostmaiden defeated, and in her third form she was flying out and away, Vi turned into a giant eagle, and the two of them plummeted hundreds of feet until the Dawnbringers lost sight of them. They took stock of everything and realized that Baron was nowhere to be found, presumably lost, having been thrown over the edge by the rock. But the Dawnbringers were all present and accounted for. They went down into the fortress and learned a little bit about how to use the magical devices that control the flight of the tower, and were able to get it to stop and hover 1,000 feet up in the air, looking down on a mysterious island in the middle of a sea of moving ice, in which they have determined that Vi, the Frostmaiden, one or both, are down there waiting for them, but they've decided that it was in their best interest to rest. And that is where we are going to pick up as you are awakening from having taken your long rest. Dawnbringers, what would you like to do?
So, did Cantriel sleep?
Yeah.
Okay. When she wakes up, Rolo is like curled up next to her head, kind of like a cat would be, like sleeping on her hair.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
What about the rest of you?
Damn, I thought that day would never end. So Thorgarn starts getting his stuff together and, says to whoever's, kind of awake and paying attention, she's going to be waiting for us. We're going to have to go in, spells and weapons of flaring.
Rolo blow things up.
At that point, like, Cantriel's like pulling Rolo off her head and sort of like tucking her more against her shoulder.
Fire is always a good way to go, especially with something icy and cold. Rolo have fire.
So does Cantriel. I mean, so do I.
Oh, Drum!
Yes.
You have fire?
No.
No. Oh no, you water person.
Lightning. I can do lightning.
Oh. Lightning work against cold?
Not as effective as your fire, but I will do what I can.
Talmud, you make fire?
No fire. Just, the old tried and true the mall here.
Okay. Thorgarn?
No, I can do, like my cousin here, but I've also got some extra divine oomph I can put into it.
Okay, so we have beatdown in group.
Yes.
We have many hammers.
Okay, that's good. Hammer crush ice.
Well, that's the plan, at least. I hope so.
So what we do now?
We are, Jake, we're still hovering hundreds of feet
Correct.
in the air where everyone could see us, right?
Yep. As a matter of fact, since you defeated or significantly wounded the Frostmaiden, one of the things that you saw, and this is important for Rolo to know, is the sun has risen for the first time in over 2 years over Icewind Dale. And given that it was the crack of dawn when you decided to take your rest, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of early afternoon, somewhere between 1 and 3 in the afternoon. And there are blue skies and a bright shining sun.
Oh, the sun is out. It's been so long since Rolo's seen the sun.
And she goes like galloping over to the door and leaps out and just glides around the keep a couple times. And like flipping over onto her belly. She does barrel rolls and is just like frolicking in the sun. And she comes flying back inside and runs over to Cantriel and just hugs her leg.
Oh, you bring the sun. You are Dawnbringers.
Cantriel's like, she's flummoxed. Like, you can tell she's trying very hard not to start like going into, oh my gosh, this is absolutely adorable mode. And at the same time, you can also see her sort of like clenching her jaw. Yes, we are the Dawnbringers.
So
This is true.
Thorgarn will walk over to, to the I guess the pair of them, and I'll put my hand on Rolo's shoulder. We are Dawnbringers.
You mean Rolo too?
You helped.
I don't think we could have done it without you, actually.
But that
Highly
makes
unlikely.
Rolo hero.
Yes.
And she stands up real straight and puts her little fists on her hips and sticks her chest out and just beams.
It's like she's a whole inch taller.
Yeah! Like 2'1".
Ooh.
Jake, did we figure out the controls enough to know how to bring this thing closer to the ground, or is that still...
You
kinda up
figured
in the air?
out how to bring it to a stop. So as a reminder, the control panel was this bunch of vines that had this huge 8-foot diameter orb that was also that you were using to sort of, on your various watches, keep an eye on the castle, and because you could rotate it around, zoom in. And there was a vine with 10 Chardolan crystals, and a couple of them were illuminated. You were fairly certain, or at least concerned, that one of those, if you turned it off, would cause the castle to plummet. You did find the one that allowed it to stop, and I think you found one that opened and closed doors, if I remember correctly. I don't remember.
So, according to the notes that I took, we figured out number 2 was the accelerator, and we think that number 6 might control elevation, but it has a question mark on my notes, so I don't know.
Right,
if we
okay.
actually confirm that or not.
So yeah, beyond that, you don't know what the rest of them do.
We need to get down.
Eventually,
And-
yes.
Eventually, certainly. We're still a ways off from the island, right?
Really slow.
The island is visible below you.
Are we over it?
Not directly over it.
Okay.
You can see the whole island surrounded by ice and whatnot.
So we can re-engage the flying and get over the island at least.
You can certainly try.
Were we not going towards it?
You were originally, and then you stopped it.
Okay,
We stopped
so
and we could sleep.
let's go push the go crystal.
Yep.
Okay.
There's the second one.
And just as a point of note, you had determined that the castle was moving at roughly 20 miles an hour when it was flying through the air. Who's pushing the button? I think Thorgarn was operating the buttons last time.
Do you want Rolo to identify these things?
Yes.
If that's
Big
possible,
help.
yes.
If you can
Yes,
use that.
Rolo can cast ritual and tell what shards do.
Perfect.
I'm going to begin casting the Identify ritual over and over again.
That would be an hour and a half to learn what all the buttons do. Well, technically, yeah, it would be about an hour and a half with the full ritual casting to learn what all of them do.
How long do y'all want to wait? Do you want to just go until I find the one to land?
I mean, yes. Just
Okay.
start
Yeah, probably.
and go. And if we find the information we need in 2 castings, great.
Right. That's what we're going to do, Jake.
So you're just going to start at the left and move to the right, or are you going to randomly pick? Or how are you going to do this? Or
Rolo
right to
will
left?
be methodical. Right to left.
Right to left.
Yes.
I know this seems a little weird, but I can actually assist in this process too.
Okay,
You can do
you can cut it down to 45 minutes.
Well,
Forge domain.
Yeah, Forge Domain does get identified.
So,
Nice.
Nice.
are you guys going to start at each end and work your way towards the middle?
Yup.
All right, so Rolo is starting with the 10th one. That is the Rolo. Number 10 is the one that opens and closes the topmost hatch, the one that the Chardelin dragon had escaped through.
Okay.
Thorgarn, at the same time, you identify that the first one allows you to drop chunks off of the bottom of the castle. So it's got parts of the mountain that are still attached to it. Basically, you can create a giant
Bombardment?
meteor, more or less. An ice
Bombardment.
meteor. Number 9. I'm going to find the right one here. Where'd it go? Number 9 is actually you determine that can be rotated, and that controls the elevation of the castle. It turns like a dial. Number 2, you already know, was worked as an accelerator, basically controlling forward and backward. The rest of them, I'm not going to go through each one of them because they're all variations of being able to turn. Well, suffice it to say you learn how to fully control the castle. Those are the ones, though, that you really wanted to know, is how to go up and down, how to make it go faster and slower, how to turn it, and you know that you can treat portions of the bottom of the castle like bombs, essentially.
I have an idea.
Okay.
Let us drop the castle on the castle.
That sounds like a fantastic idea, Drown. I'm all for it.
I hope Vi is in there.
The problem with that is we have no way of knowing unless we see a body if it's dealt with and over.
True.
It'll at least soften them up before we go in.
Or makes it a whole lot more work to try and excavate the area.
We're dwarves, cousin. That's
Aye.
kind of what we do.
Where's your war pick?
He points to his maul.
Yeah,
Right here.
that
Or you save it for when things are getting dicey on their side and we go back and drop it knowing they're on their last legs.
I would not be opposed to simply dropping this entire fortress onto that ice castle, but I understand if there is reticence to do that.
I mean, I'm just gonna throw this out there. Like, this castle moves. Like, no one lives here. Vi was. We're off Vi. Is this our castle? Stamp the Dawnbringers all over it. Take it wherever we want to go.
Assuming the vines and the magic holding it up survives Vi's death. I highly doubt it will, but we shall see.
Oh, the power come from the shards.
Which we also know are not entirely to be trusted. They have a strange effect on those who try to handle them.
Perhaps it is more prudent to simply invade the castle on foot.
Talmud kind of like sighs.
Okay, so we go on foot. Can roller still fly?
Yes.
Okay. Otherwise, it'd be a very slow process.
All right, I think we're gonna take this puppy down.
Where are you going to take it down?
Near the ice castle.
Okay, who's piloting it?
I mean,
All of a sudden, Talmud's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
I'll grab the go forward crystal and push it.
You
I'll assist.
You start making it go forward, Drown. Nudging that crystal. You feel the gentle acceleration of the castle. And within moments, you feel the gentle deceleration of the castle.
I'm going to go to the elevation one, number 9, and slowly start bringing us down as we're moving forward so we come at a diagonal.
So to clarify, so as you're bringing it down, that's fine. You start bringing it down. But Drown, you notice that, and again, you can see through that orb, before you can get over top of the island, the castle automatically decelerates.
Okay, so it won't approach the island.
It won't go over above the perimeter of the island, which actually, I can show you what you're looking at from above. One moment. As I... There we go. Let's go look at... There's a reason I have maps. I don't know what that was. That was the wrong screen. There we go. That is the view that you have. You can see from this view, the entire island has this vague sort of snowflake resemblance to it. There is the fortress on the mountain in the middle. You can make out various shipwrecks embedded in the ice all around the perimeter. And you do notice... and I'm giving this to you because you spent 8 hours in shifts looking through, sort of checking everything out. There is a what appears to be an open dock on that sort of north, or rather southeastern section. Most all of these points have relative low points that look like they would be traversable on foot. That's the only one that looks like it's an actual dock point, though. You notice to the not far to the left of it, there's a couple of shipwrecks. You could bring the entire fortress down into the water, or close to, whatever, you don't necessarily have to land it.
Right. So we can bring the fortress basically to the dock area, but not over the ice itself.
Yeah, anytime you try to maneuver it above the ice, you feel it just sort of, and the whole castle just sort of lurches a little bit.
Right. Well, we can do that and bring it down.
Can we take it to the, let's see, that'd be the southwest, the lower of the southwest ones where it cuts the closest to the mountain?
Oh, into the inlet between
Yeah.
the snowflake points?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah. Because we can get the closest to the mountain from that one. It looks like.
If we do that, we're gonna have to drop into the water, aren't we?
Yeah,
I
that's a
think
good point.
any way you slice it, we're dropping into the water.
Yeah.
The closest you'd be able to get, so it's actually this bay area right here, and where this dock area is here, over here, anywhere up in over here, and over here, are the only places big enough to accommodate the fortress. You are in a giant stone fortress that's
Sure.
part of a mountain. So this,
The dock one is probably the best option.
this one, you would, even if you tried to navigate it, you're going to be over top of parts of the mountain or parts of the island. It's not going to let you get in that close.
Right.
Either this inlet, the dock. I mean, there's about 4 places where you could land. The dock is the only area that you could actually land close. Well, I take that back. I would say all 4 of the northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest points would allow you access.
Do we see like a road leading up to the front of the castle from one of these?
Again, because you spent so much time keeping an eye on it, there is some semblance of a pathway leading to stairs in the mountain leading from the dock. It does appear that, I mean, the dock would make sense that whatever this place's history, that's where ships would come in and they would travel from there to the castle.
Is she expecting us anyway? Might as well use front door.
I will bring the fortress down by the dock.
Is your intent to land it in the water or to hover it?
I don't have any sense of whether, like, I can hover it in the water so it doesn't sink, right?
No. I mean, you can.
Let's not
try.
Risk it, or what do you all think?
Can I make an intelligence based on knowing what these stones do? To know our arcana to know whether this can be hovered?
Will touching the water negate the fortress's fly speed?
Oh, what about a natural 20? That's a 30.
Ooh, dang.
You know that you could absolutely position this down next to the dock into the water at that point and still allow it to sort of hover at the surface level of the water. So you could basically drop it in partially submerged so you don't have to go up or down to get to the dock.
So I guess I'll bring the front gate and that ramp right up to the dock.
And because of Rollo and Thorgarn carefully taking the time to figure out all the controls, I'm only going to make you make one dexterity check. You can do so with advantage because Rollo specifically said that she's helping you.
Yay, 17.
Okay. You are able to successfully bring this thing down. As you sort of settle it into the water, you do hear the sound of rending wood as you take out part of the dock. It was already a partially destroyed dock anyway. You just destroyed it a little bit more.
I'm good with it. Yep.
I'm gonna go down into the basement and patch up the hole.
It was like that before we got here.
Somebody
Bucket.
go over to the barrel full of wood.
Did the fortress just death
So
thrown?
when owner come back, they know what happened.
Actually, Talmud, if you do actually go downstairs,
The lower reaches are probably flooded.
water you wouldn't be able to get all the way down because there was a big hole in the middle of the floor. The lower reaches are absolutely partially flooded.
Yeah, Talmud makes it about 3 steps down the stairs before he sees like the water like lapping at the. He says, "Nope." He just kind of turns around and heads
He remembers he suddenly has somewhere else to be.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Anywhere else.
All right. Well, all of you are able to disembark. And you do find yourself right up against this partially destroyed dock, but the way Drown nudged it in, you can walk right out the front entrance of this fortress and onto what remains of the dock.
Excellent.
You can tell immediately that this dock is way bigger than it looked from up above. This thing sits very high up from the water. It is apparently intended for
Like
much larger
ships.
ships. Yes, Drown in particular would recognize that this appears to be a giant-sized dock.
Do any of the vessels look like they would be probably frost giant ships, or do they look like regular
Some of them.
humanoid vessels? Oh, okay.
It's a mix.
Cool. Interesting.
At the back of the dock, in fact, to further corroborate this theory, you see a set of giant-sized steps that climb to the top of the cliffs up from the dock. There's about a 50-foot high cliff. There's a 20-foot wide path that is made of these ice bricks. At the top of these stairs, as you're on the dock, you're looking up, you see about 50 feet up there, is what looks like a carving of, in fact, actually, I don't have to dance around it because you've already seen one of these when you fought the Frostmaiden. There is an ice mephit sitting there, this sort of gnarled, almost demonic looking ice creature. And it's just perched on the edge of the stairs looking down at all of you. And as you're approaching and you're at the bottom of the stairs, it just seems it's sort of crouching low with its arms resting on its knees, and it's just absentmindedly picking at little pieces of ice and just playing a game with itself, trying to drop them down the stairs.
Did it see us?
Oh, it's looking right at you.
Oh, okay, but it's playing with ice?
Yeah, it's just absentmindedly.
Rolo hops forward and picks up a piece of ice and throws it back up to it like she's playing a game with it.
Let me do that. That is a D12. That is not a D20.
You don't need a D20.
Okay, that's better.
Fine.
It reaches out and just misses catching the ice block or ice chunk that you threw at it.
Is there another one down here?
Oh, there's ice chunks everywhere.
Okay, I'm going to take another chunk and throw it up.
You can do it!
Natural 20. It just goes. Swoop. And instead of throwing it down the stairs, it just lightly tosses it back towards you, Rolo.
I'm going to dive to catch it.
What are the rest of you doing while Rolo's playing catch with an ice mephit?
Cantriel has these sparks sort of developing on her fingertips. She's ready to use produce flame if need be on this thing.
So did Drown say anything about the giant ships?
Yeah, sure, probably. As we were coming in, you'd point out frost giant longships.
Are these in service? Can we tell whether or not they're fresh and packed? Like, there's going to be giants all over the place, or like?
I mean, they look like old shipwrecks out on the.
Oh yeah,
there's
most of them are like partially frozen in icebergs.
I just didn't know if we had to, worry about giants on top of everything else.
And this dock looks old and crumbling and frozen and disused, right?
Yeah.
I suspect this may have once been a frost giant hold.
Yeah.
Likely no longer.
Drown, what languages do you speak?
Common, giant, and primordial. Probably Aquan dialect, but it's all of them. So,
you and anybody else that can speak Aquan, Aquan, can actually understand this creature, as it says, "I suppose you've come for the castle."
More or less.
I can guide you there. I am Sabo.
Drown turns and looks at the castle, which I assume we can see, right? Unless it's some sort of visibility issue.
Now that you're down here and as you're looking up, first of all, the 50-foot stairs leading up to the cliff obstructs your view. So from right here, no, you can't see the castle.
Got it. Why would we need a guide?
Have you been to Solstice before?
No.
Then you don't know your way around the island. Dangers lurk everywhere. Sabo can show you the safest route.
It's offering to show us a safe path to the castle.
You're speaking with it.
Yes.
Does it want something in return?
It has not said. I'll switch back to Aquan and say, what do you wish in return for this assistance?
It is enough to share company with strangers. Sabo means you no harm. Look at me. I am just a small, harmless creature. There are so many of you. There's nothing I could do to threaten you.
And to the rest of the group, it says it simply wants our company and means us no harm, and will show us ways to avoid the island's threats.
Insight.
I was gonna say this. Do it. Does its words seem trustworthy?
I would say anybody inciting other than Drown is doing so at disadvantage.
Okay.
Because you can't understand his words.
I will give it a shot.
Oh, that's sad that it was a disadvantage. Can I use a domain dice to make it an advantage?
Domain
make
dice
it,
allow
like,
you to reroll.
You can
Equal?
use it to reroll.
Oh, okay. You can't use it to get advantage. Never mind then.
I got a 14.
30 20.
Drown will just sort of shrug and look at the rest of you.
Cantriel, its intentions seem exactly as Drown interpreted. It's a very small creature, not much larger than Rollo. It does have wings, very long, gangly limbs, though its entire body is pretty small. And it hasn't presented itself in any hostile fashion. I don't know why you're here, but there's lots for you to see. The shipwrecks, did you see them when you flew in?
Many, yes.
Some of them have been there for a very long time, and no one has claimed their loot.
It says there is treasure on some of the shipwrecks that have been there long, and no one has explored them.
There was one ship that crashed off the coast to the northwest. Not long, maybe 6 months ago. There was a woman that survived the crash. She tried to make it to the top of the island, but she froze to death before she got there.
A recent shipwreck, 6 months. A woman tried to make it to the center of the island and froze before she made it.
You know, Oriel makes this island her home.
Yes, we know.
She has beautiful sculptures of ice. They would make you weep at the very sight of them, if not for the fact that your tears would freeze to your face.
Are they actually sculptures of ice? Is my question.
The Frostmaiden has worked her hands on the ice for centuries. She has a practiced artistic hand. Her sculptures are beautiful. Sabo can lead you and show you the garden of sculptures.
He is offering to show us gardens of the Frostmaiden's ice sculptures.
I'll take you away that will not go past the Yeti caves.
Yeti caves.
If not for Sopo, you might stumble into the Yeti caves. Gorgra would never let you go.
Maybe we do that after we do the thing at the castle.
There was also the mention of treasure, I believe.
Yes, but what good is treasure going in?
We have a task to achieve.
Right, of course. Yes. Can he lead us straight to the castle and we could just skip the gardens?
So I'll turn back to the method. We wish to go to the castle directly.
The gardens are on the way.
Then lead us through the gardens to the castle.
This seems to delight Sopo, who suddenly springs up, still keeping sort of a low, hunched. Picture Gollum the whole time he's traveling with Sam and Frodo, just moving very low to the ground, and his wings seem very frail and occasionally flap and flutter as he skitters forward, but he never leaves the ground. He never takes flight. Come, wait! And he skitters easily down these giant steps. And as you all begin climbing, he carefully, with each one of you, no, do not step there. And knowing by now that some of you don't understand him, he will simply point at certain spots on the steps, and he'll go like this. No. Step here. And Drown, you can hear that he's trying to guide everybody to the safest path to avoid the super slippery patches. And if you follow his instructions, you will all eventually be able to climb up to the top of this. It's a little bit of work because each of the steps is a giant sized step. So you sort of have to clamber up and then up to the next one and the next one.
Rolo flies.
Except for Rolo.
We get to the first one, and Talmud's gonna like cup his hands, interlace his fingers, and hold them out for Thorgarn, so he can give him a boost up.
Grudgingly, help. Take the help, but try to like mess up and smack him in the face.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, so you are you make it up to the top, and looking towards the center of the island, you can see in the bright daylight, you can see the mountain that rises up in the middle. You can see that quite a ways away, there are these giant stairs that lead up, but you can't fully see the castle from this vantage point, as the entire mountain is partially surrounded by an icy fog. But it is shifting, and occasionally you catch glimpses of this fortress, this castle, and it very much, now that you're down at a low angle, looks like it is fashioned in the style of a giant skull with spires of ice climbing up. For reference, the squares on the map are 200 feet each. So, yeah, at this point, the fortress is a couple thousand feet away, at least. Sopo waits for all of you to clamber up the stairs, and sees you all looking up at the castle, and just sort of grins, and then begins skittering ahead, leading you along the way. Is there anything special anybody wants to do, or are you just going to follow Sopo as you as they lead you along these paths.
Just following for now, for me.
Okay. So you travel for a while. Every once in a while, Sopo pointing out dangerous patches of ice, telling you to watch your step here, watch your step there. Eventually, after about almost 1,500 feet of walking, mostly to the north, he stops and holds up his hand, and he points to the eastern cliffs.
Yeah. Do you see them?
And because of the sunlight, you can easily see just below the edge of where the mist is. There are several caves, still at this point, maybe 800 feet or so away. You can just make out some caves in the side of the cliffs.
Oh, is that the Yeti caves? Quickly, quickly.
And he begins moving westward around sort of a large outcropping and along the foot of the cliffs, and begins following it. You can sort of make out as you're walking that through the snow and ice, you are essentially walking on a cobblestone, large cobblestones, but a sort of cobblestone path that was laid out some time ago. It's about 20 feet wide. And so at this point, for reference, because I just remembered I have a "you are here" arrow, you have traveled up along this area here. Right here's where he pointed out the Yeti caves, which are up over here. And then begins to lead you down around this area, following the foot of the cliffs. At which point...
Jake, what are the things that look like rings of standing stones or like collections of...
That is what you are approaching now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Patience, Jeremy.
I have none, Jacob. I played Talmud. Come on, man.
As you continue along the way, you can see that Sopo's getting a little more excited as he'll sort of skitter forward and then come back.
Up ahead, the sculpture garden.
And you see there is, blowing down from the cliffs, there's some snow blowing around. A little bit of that mist sort of comes with it. And suddenly it just seems to clear away, and you see this massive assembly of ice sculptures spread out across the snowy field at the foot of the mountain. As you get closer, you can see that these are incredibly detailed sculptures of bears, elk, saber-toothed tigers, wolves, yeti, some larger ones, tower, remorazes, white dragons, and some creatures you can't even identify.
They all seem to be just actual ice sculptures and not like frozen figures.
As far as you can tell, you're at this point, unless anybody like specifically stops, Sopo is leading you along the path that leads right through the midst of all of these. So picture this sort of camera as you move past bears and tigers, and then a remoraz is leering down over here is a dragon towering, occasionally obscured in fog. The path leads right through it.
Stopping to examine one of these to see if it appears to have been carved or something was turned to ice.
Okay. Investigation check.
Certainly. Oh, 17.
Looking at it up close, which one would you go up to? What type of creature sculpture would you go to?
Probably a scary looking one.
Okay.
Is there like a monster type?
The Remoraz is like this giant,
yeah.
multi-legged creature, very large.
I'll go up to that one.
It has an almost insectoid appearance to it, and you can see the absolutely incredible detail of this ice sculpture. And looking at it, like no detail has been overlooked. But it also looks completely translucent. It is made entirely of ice. As far as you can tell, this is a sculpture not created by mortal hands.
It's very impressive.
Thorgarn wants to look at the face of anything and see if there's like an expression, or is it, far more like is it a natural expression, or is it a like artist rendering, I guess I would say.
Does it look terrified?
There's an owl bear sculpture not far from you, Thorgarn. A snowy owl bear sculpture. Getting up close, go ahead and make an investigation check.
Hey, I actually got a bonus. That's a 14.
This thing looks, it's entirely made of ice and translucent, so some of you have to kind of shift around, to be able to see the full thing. It looks like an owl bear with its mouth open in a roar, possibly. But you can see every single feather across its arms and its head. You can even see the details in its beak. You can see the tongue inside its open mouth.
So while I am in no way, shape, or form a ice sculptor, I am absolutely a craftsman. So he's just going to kind of marvel at this for a moment, and take in the beauty of what's here. Even if the hand that guided the tool or was the tool doesn't deserve to live, this is still pretty damn awesome.
Anybody else doing anything?
I just am amused that Thorgarn is game recognizes game mode.
Come on, I'm a cleric of a forge god. I create stuff. Like, this is what wow.
This is just one of Oriel's gardens.
Sorry, that was the lid of my teapot.
I thought maybe you broke one of the sculptures.
No, it went in my tea, though. Ow, ow, ow. Sorry.
There are more gardens like it all around the island. Shabo can show them to you, if you like.
Perhaps later. For now, we need to reach the castle.
Yes. Come, follow.
And Sapo will begin leading you. As you get to... you go down through the sculpture gardens here, and you see that there's an area, there's this... where the cliff starts to rise up, and this long spur of ice leads down towards one of the spines of the perimeter cliffs of the island. And you can see Sapo lead you towards where there are more stairs carved into this area. He continues to guide you along. As you climb up these stairs, and you find yourself up along this sort of mini ridge of this this spur. The wind is blowing and the way is getting slippery. I need everybody to make an athletics check as you are moving along this narrow ridge.
Do I need to make one?
Except for you, because you're flying.
I'm gonna use a domain die, please.
Which what kind of
Because
check
that was a 1.
Athletics.
And now it is a 21 instead.
Good use.
22.
18.
I got an 18 as well.
Okay. Everybody is able to make your way carefully and slowly. And you begin, as you're traveling, you have to sort of meander around a little bit. Periodically skirting around areas that look almost impassable. Sapo shows you the way around. And you travel up the spur. By this point, you've been traveling for about an hour. I believe everybody here is resistant to cold through magical or natural means. So no need for those checks. I would like perception or investigation checks from everybody at this point.
Tough
29?
choice. Which one do I pick? The one that's a +1 or the one that's a +1?
I went with the one that's a +10.
So I should have said everybody but Cantriel, because Cantriel automatically sees the thing.
I got a 21.
I have an 11.
I rolled a
Sees
1
nothing.
for a total of 6.
So
Nada.
for one thing, you see as you're approaching another set of stairs that lead up, mostly obscured, just leading right into the mist, but you see much closer, looming up above you at the top of this mountain, you see the skull-like visage of the castle leering down. But Cantriel, you're more concerned as in the snow up ahead of you before the stairs, you see a frozen human hand jutting out from the snow. You see that this hand is clutching some sort of smoky gray orb. And as if startled by your approach, this is maybe 20 feet in front of you. You suddenly see near this corpse, you see a little burst of snow. It makes Sapo skitter back towards you a couple feet, surprised, as a white weasel bursts out of the snow and just stares at you. Its little black eyes just sort of blinking. And then you hear,
Ye gods! I was afraid no one would find us.
Clarification, is this the ferret speaking?
make a perception check.
Really?
Correction, you
do I need
noticed this. Never mind. You have...
Do I need to hold thorgarn back to make sure he doesn't go after this poor weasel this time?
We don't need a repeat incident of Saltmarsh.
Orphan weasel.
You see the little white weasel just sort of cocking its head, almost blending in with the snow. You see the dark of its nose and its little black beady eyes. The voice is not coming from the weasel. You notice as you heard the voice, the orb in this frozen hand seemed to pulse in time with the words that were spoken.
Oh, goody. Another orb with cute new talents. Might I ask who you are? And she's speaking to the orb. Was it speaking? What language was it speaking in? Common or?
Speaking in common.
Speaking in common. She replies in common then.
1 second. I just lost my place on something. Hold on. Bear with me.
Yes, one moment. Trap attack bonus and hazard damage.
Right.
What were you saying?
Sorry, I'm rolling for number of dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Sorry, what was your question that you asked the orb?
Who are you? What's your name?
Ah, yes. I am Professor Scunt.
Professor?
And Rolo goes like this, and through a drift of snow nearby, and just bursts this giant owl bear.
Oh boy.
This Professor Alfred.
We're an intellectual bunch. Clearly. I don't suppose the hand that's holding you was yours once upon a time, was it?
No. I've never had hands.
All right. Whose hand is it?
Oh, I'm afraid that this hand that clutches me in its very death throes is none other than Nas Lantamir, a member of the Arcane Brotherhood.
Do I know who the Arcane Brotherhood is?
You can make a history check.
Yeah, Cantriel's going to do the same.
That's a 12.
14.
I'm gonna say, Rolo, you've not heard of them. Cantriel, you don't know a whole lot about them, but you do remember that when you first traveled to Salt Marsh, you traveled by foot from Blazing Dell to the west to a town called Luskin, where you met up with Captain Stark and ultimately with the Evangeline and headed across the sea. You spent a few days in Luskin. You do remember somebody pointed out a tower in Luskin called the Host Tower of the Arcane, and mentioned that it was the home of the Arcane Brotherhood, which was a powerful group of wizards. That's all you know. Yeah, it's not an ordinary tower. It's like multi-spired. Think fantasy, ultimate fantasy spiky tower. The two towers meets the what is it called? Castlevania castle from the anime.
I was gonna say it reminds me of Dracula's
Yes.
castle with the weird offshoots and
Yes.
yeah. It looks like a big tree, kind of.
All right, so you introduce yourself as Professor. Am I correct to presume that you are also wizard? And so was your handling
Well.
companion.
I think it is an orb.
Nas Lantamir was the wizard. Alas, I am a Professor Orb.
Professor
That is
Orb.
Professor Orb.
I will head forward and see if I can take the orb out of the frozen hand.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. Absolutely. Go ahead and make me a.
I am not particularly concerned about the hand.
What is going on with this? Hold on. I'm having an issue with D&D Beyond at the moment. Nope. I was having a problem with me. What's that?
Welcome to the club.
Rough.
There we go.
Rough.
There's not much you guys can do about that.
Where you go, there you are.
Go ahead and make a strength check as you attempt to pry this orb from the frozen dead hands.
Okali dokali of Nas Lantamir, whoever that is. Dirty 20.
Fingers unfortunately snap, freeing the orb. However, I need you to make a charisma saving throw.
Okie dokie.
While all this is going on, what is the ferret or weasel doing?
Just watching you.
25. Warlock, motherfucker.
That was
Quote of the game.
that's too perfect. Too perfect.
There's our one for the night, and worth it.
I'm not ending the stream. I'm just changing scenes. That's it. We're done.
That's it. We're out.
So you notice, Drown, as you pull this orb free, something, even though the fingers broke, something tried to grab hold of your hand. Something spectral and cold. Something coming from the corpse.
From the corpse, not from the orb. Interesting.
No. From the corpse.
Like, is it just a feeling, or is it like, did I see anything?
As you're looking around, and of course Cantriel spots this right away, there is now a ghostly apparition floating above the body. That of a woman dressed in cold weather clothes, much like the corpse below you, and it's just floating above the body, looking a bit annoyed as you've taken this orb.
Cantriel calls out Mom.
To be clear, you summon your mother's spirit from the bow, not you just go, Mom!
Both? Mother, like might need to speak with like. One goes to another.
I will address the annoyed ghost and say, do not try that again. Is there something you require? Buffering.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I just got a pretty significant dip in signal. I know the stream's buffering, which as I noticed that you went buffering, and I was worried that I was.
Sorry.
Perfectly timed, I guess. That's all it was.
I think we're back.
Yeah, it's just taking a dip for a moment. Okay. You asked the ghost a question?
Yes. I said, is there something you require? And told it not to do that again, not to try that again.
That's mine.
Gesturing towards the orb.
Not anymore.
I want it. I need it.
Drown?
Hmm?
Can Rolo look at that while you hold it?
Just sort of holds down.
Identify, casting
hand-
from memory.
Hand wrapped around it. Yeah.
Rolo, make me a charisma saving throw.
Oh no.
Is
Charisma
the
not
all right?
low.
Is the
Ignore
ghost moving towards her?
1 second.
That's a 12?
Let me put it this way: if that ghost looks like it's moving toward anyone, I'm blasting it.
The ghost is not moving.
Okay.
The ghost is watching as you pass the orb to
I don't
Rolo.
I don't hold the orb. That's
Well,
why I said while
that's
he
fine.
holds
That's
it.
fine.
Oh, okay. That's a 12.
Okay. Drown, you've got your eyes on this ghost.
Mhm.
So you clearly see as it disappears. Rolo, You are
Oh, no.
incapacitated. And you are no longer in control of your body.
Oh no.
Was she that close to the ghost?
Yeah, you went up and you took it from the corpse.
Yeah.
And are standing there, and then Rollo came over as you're holding it over.
Fair enough.
So you're right next to the body. Rollo, you are incapacitated. You're basically a passenger as you feel something is occupying your body. And you watch as Rollo's limbs begin to move a little strangely, and Rollo doesn't cast the spell that she was about to.
I grab Rollo immediately.
It's not hard.
Like I dropped the orb at this point. I'm no longer concerned.
The voice that comes out of Rollo is not Rollo's voice. It's got a raspiness that comes from speaking through kobold vocal cords, but I'm not going to attempt that voice. As you hear almost like Rollo's voice with another voice superimposed over it. Please, no harm. I mean you no harm. This is the best way I can communicate with you.
Well, she does seem to be way more articulate. So, Drown will pause.
Couldn't feasibly she speak with Mom?
Your mom is a shadow.
Oh, that's right.
This is a ghost.
They don't speak the language of the undead? Of the deceased? Of the
Say
dearly
what you do.
departed?
I mean, generally speaking, undead know the languages they knew in life. They don't, as far as I know, they don't have
I'm trying.
It's called grave
They didn't
speak.
before, but they're gonna now.
Say what you need to say and get out of our friend.
I will give her back. Who are you and why are you here?
That was really well done, Katie. Holy shit.
Katie, take a point of inspiration because I saw what you were doing.
Like, I legit looked over, saw you, and had a moment where my brain just went.
It's a glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Who are you and why are you here? What is that sunlight?
Yes. We have foiled the Frostmaiden's spell, and we have come here to finish her.
Who are you indeed?
We are the Dawnbringers. I am called Drown.
We're the Dawnbringers. We kind of brought the dawn, kind of part and parcel, the name.
You're the Dawnbringers. Then you must be Cantriel. You must be Thorgarn and Talmud.
Interesting.
You know us.
I have heard of you. Your deeds have been making their way up and down. Words of your deeds have made their way up and down the Sword Coast.
Talmud kind of like slugs Thorgarn in the arm, like, see?
Last I heard,
We're awful.
you were across the sea in Kaoland.
Plans changed.
Well, I heard Saltmarsh did not want you there after what you did,
they
if
did that.
there's to be any truth to those rumors.
More
That's the one
rumors
that-
than truth.
Gets around.
Yeah, you be a hero and people don't want you around anymore.
Is it true that you defeated Gothias
Yeah.
and destroyed the heart?
Yep, we did that too.
Then though I no longer live, perhaps there is hope. I am one of 4 wizards from the Arcane Brotherhood that was sent out to find a lost city, said to lay under the Reghead Glacier for thousands of years. The Reghead Glacier, and you see Rollo's tiny hand sort of point generally in the southeast direction, lies far that way. It is said that in the Frostmaiden's castle
there is a special ritual called the Codicil of White. We were all seeking it to gain access to the Reghed Glacier and the lost Netherese city of Yithrin, an ancient and powerful civilization lost to time. Aurel's followers have hidden the Codicil of White here in the frost-giant fortress of Grimskull.
Grimskull.
I think my mic might have filtered out that soft you like Grimskull.
I think it did.
I'm like, that's what I said.
That's a lot to take in. Wow.
I was on my way here when our ship crashed in the ice floes. I was the only one to make it here. But this is as far as I could make it.
I think we have heard of you. And he'll kind of look to the method. Then back to the ghost, or back to Rollo.
This whole time, this Arctic weasel is just sort of popping in and out of the snow. And as this ghost of Nas Lantamir begins speaking, the weasel is sort of circling around your feet, Drown, and seems to be keep popping up and sniffing towards Rollo.
So pop goes the weasel?
Damn it.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
You see Rollo's head.
Bard, I'm not ashamed of it at all.
You see Rollo's head tilt down.
Selenor! How is this possible? Selenor was my familiar. But Selenor should have gone when I died.
Perhaps there's more to this creature than you first were aware.
Could it have something to do with the orb?
The orb.
Simply the island.
The orb is a professor orb called Professor Scant. It once belonged to one of my rivals, Velen Harpel. It is intelligent and has the air of a scholar, but it is quite intelligent and is useful for studying and helping to decipher things.
Interesting.
If you take the orb and you appear to be going to the castle, find the Codicil of White. Perhaps I can rest then. Are any of you a wizard?
Yes.
You're in.
I think
The body you have taken is a wizard.
I think before you say that, the head just turns and kind of looks to the dwarves and kind of shakes its head and looks to Drown and then looks to Cantriel. Are you a wizard?
No, but you're in one.
Oh dear. I will release your friend.
Please do.
But not completely. I will stay with her.
For what purpose and or reason?
To help you find the Codicil of White so that I may be free. If you dig through the snow there, I have my spellbook on me. Your wizard
All right.
can have it.
That's an acceptable enough reason.
When I release her, Only she will be able to hear me. But I will be there. Please, help me. Help me, Dawnbringers. You're my only hope.
So basically, we're all hearing voices at this point.
There are many voices.
Yeah. Who? Raise your hand if you don't
Raise your
have
hand
a
if you
voice.
have a dead person talking to
If
you.
you don't, if you don't have a dead person talking to you, I think Drown's the only one at this point.
Drown is
Do
the
not hear
no.
voices.
How's your patron?
Everybody
I feel like
else.
a real Dawnbringer now.
I'm not certain my patron understands speech.
Rollo, this whole time you have heard everything that has happened, including mention of the location of the spell book. And the voice also says, Selenor will stay with you. This voice is directed inward. Only you hear this, Rollo.
Okay.
Selenor is my familiar. As long as I am possessing you, they will function, maybe, for you as well.
Okay,
Please.
I don't understand.
Find the Codicil of White.
This voice is to everyone. And Rollo, suddenly you have your body back.
It's okay, Israela.
Are you all right?
The Codicil of White. We have to find Codicil of White. Yes, Willow's fine. Oh,
And Rollo begins digging at the ground.
Professor, help!
And the professor comes over and starts digging at the ground. And then the weasel comes over and starts digging at the ground. And we start digging up the body.
So is it in snow or is it encased in ice?
It's hard packed snow. Some of it breaks away like ice, but with sharp dragonkin claws. The kobold quickly is able to find the spell book.
Ooh, I'm excited. New spell book.
And
Ooh.
I'm going to, at the break, I will give you the spells that are in Naslantamir spellbook. So you won't be able to copy any of them until later, but you are able to find it. The little white Arctic weasel Zelenor sticks close by you, Rollo. As does your now backseat passenger in your mind, Naslantamir. And at this moment, the clouds, the mists up above seem to part a bit and reveal the stairs leading further up towards the castle proper. And that is where we're going to go ahead and take our break.
Break
Since
time.
I realize
I
it's
will
perfectly
fish
timed.
Professor Scant out of the snow before we break, so I don't forget.
Yep. So, yeah, I'll let you know at the break what to add. So, yeah, thanks everybody who's tuned in so far. Please stick around. We are going to be back in just a few moments. We'll see you in about 10 minutes.
And we are back.
You continuing to move forward. Sapo, the ice method, leads you a little further to the giant ice stairs and tells you,
Follow these stairs. They'll take you right to the front door.
and
Very well.
you are able to, it takes you a while to climb up these giant stairs leading up to the front entrance of this place. They eventually end in front of a large set of double doors, 25 feet tall, 8 foot wide, made of thick ice. Embedded in these slabs of ice, you see dragon skulls and bones. Carved into the lintel above the doors is a single word in Dwarven, the written language of the giants. Grimskala. What would you like to do?
Did you say there was a closed door? Or
It's a giant set of double ice doors.
right?
Are there rings on them or anything like that? Are they way above our heads?
Well, these are 25-foot doors with handles that are quite high up. But if you wanted to open them, you could certainly try pushing on them.
Yep, that's what Talmud's going to do.
Yep, give it a shot.
All right, I need a athletics check.
I will assist if you feel you need it there, Talmud.
I'll say with Talmud, Drown, and Thorgarn all working together, I won't even take the roll. It's huge and heavy and made of ice, but you are able to push it inward. It makes barely a sound as the door pushes open, and you find yourself at the end of a 20-foot wide and 60-foot long hallway extending to the west. The hall continues to go northward, but immediately in front of you to the west, well, at the end of this hall, 60 feet, is another set of ice doors. It is dark in here. Cold mist swirls on the first 2 feet of the floor, so you can't even see your feet as you look down. Does anybody here not have dark vision?
No, I do. Okay.
I think everybody does, so light's not a problem.
You said the hallway moves further to the north?
Not well, at the end,
well as one that
at the end, all the way to the west, to the left, 60 feet. It proceeds northward, but there's also a set of double doors there.
Okay.
So on the west wall is a set of doors, or the hall continues northward.
Is it likely there will be traps here?
Is the method still with us?
No, he didn't even go up the stairs with you.
I mean,
Might not be a bad idea to
Can I
look.
investigate for traps
Sure.
while I hover? Basically hover down the hall and look for traps.
What are you doing to look for traps?
I am going to search for any sort of stones that look like they've got like a scratch to them, like something has ground against them, for tripwires.
The bottom 2 feet of the floor is obscured heavily with a mist.
My wings beating to clear the mist.
You can make your investigation checks at disadvantage because you can only clear immediately around you.
Sure.
Also, just for point of reference, especially since we have a flyer, the ceilings in this place are 30 feet high. This is, of course, made for giants.
Yeah. All right, let's see. I don't know where I put my dice. Oh, there it is.
You know, cousin, this giants and dwarves never really got along, and looking around in this place, I know what you're gonna say, but you know, makes me feel small.
I got a 23.
Moving quickly and methodically along the floor, using your wings to sort of fan away this cold mist, the rest of you see Rollo just in a swirl. You just see the top of her head and her wings as the mist sort of swirls around as she moves back and forth. And you find smooth ice floors underneath, no signs of any pressure plates or any indication of traps.
Okay.
Will I not see any traps?
Talmud will start to move that direction down the hall, and he'll kind of call back and answer to Thorgarn. I imagine even Drown feels small in this place.
You are correct.
I guess.
Move in, follow.
Yeah, with Gerta drawn, I'll move up to at least as far as the next set of double doors.
So now, as you're walking, the double doors are at the end of this hall, are right in front of you, and to your right, which is now north, or to the north, which is now to your right. Makes more sense. The hallway continues on for, well, as far as your dark vision will allow. Drown, you can actually see that it goes on for... You see 120 feet, yeah? You can just make out a wall at the end of this hall, Drown, and stairs that lead down along this hallway. All of you can see, in addition to the doors right next to you, further up about 40 or 50 feet, there's another set of double doors to the east, one of which is partially ajar. And then, Drown, you're the only one that can see about 100 feet or so out. It's another set of double doors, not Dumbledores.
Dumbledore.
A set of double doors. Damn.
Lips stuck together. Double doors, and an opening opposite them to the left, and the opening to the north that leads to the stairs. So, in typical Dawnbringer fashion, you're in a hallway with multiple sets of doors.
Cantriel, do you hear anything?
Archie found a fortune cookie on my desk, so you're probably going to hear it. He's trying to chew his way through the wrapper.
Cool. With the 22 passive, what does Cantriel pick up?
Cantriel, you can hear, coming from down the hall and through the door that's partially open on that eastern wall, you hear a sound of something shifting, like a foot sliding across the floor, but a heavy sound. And you hear a
We're not the only ones in here.
Is there a keyhole in this door?
The door you're next to does not have a keyhole. It's just a set of closed doors.
Damn.
The door that Cantriel hears this from is about 50 feet further to the north. There's no sound coming from the doors next to you.
Is there anything carved into the lintel of this door?
There's not.
Okay.
Restroom.
Right? We do not want to go in there.
All right, I will open the close set of double doors right in front of us.
It's hard, but as I said, there's enough of you with high strength. You're able to work together and push these doors open. You see this room is as wide as the hallway from south to north, 20 feet, and about 60 feet long. It's a long rectangular room. There's pieces of rotting wood and rusted metal. You can see the remnants of giant weapons and weapon racks. There's a rusted out helmet that looks big enough that one of the dwarves, definitely Rolo, could actually crawl inside the helmet that's lying on the ground near the wall. This appears to be a long, forgotten and unused and rotted armory for giants.
Is there anything in here that stands out, that has weathered time?
Nothing.
Okay.
Even the giant helmet is rusted out and has holes in it where the rust has eaten through it.
There's no other exits from this room?
No.
Okay.
Look at that, guys. We cleared a room in like a minute and a half.
Yeah, next.
All right.
Record speed.
High five!
So, to the north is that partially ajar door that's half blocking the hallway. It's through that door that you heard the sounds, Cantriel. And you still hear an occasional...
So the door opens into the hall?
Yes.
Okay. Kama's going to move up to the door and kind of peek around it, using it as cover.
Okay. Give me... hold on, give me a moment. 10, 20... No, you'd be able to see. That's within range of your dark vision. As you peer into this room, you see a room that is about 30 feet by 35 feet. In the northeastern corner, there is another door, a single door. And what you see in front of that door is a withered old frost giant. He's leaning heavily on a great axe and sort of leaning against the door. You hear another shuffling sound, and then you hear, as he shifts his weight, and the giant wooden stool that he's sitting on creaks under his weight. And he seems to be squinting as he looks towards the door.
Who goes there?
These words are spoken in giant. Does anybody other than Drown speak giant? So the rest of you just hear this deep guttural.
Lock the door.
And then you hear Drown.
Is that you? Death. Do we meet at last?
So how does the giant seem about that? Is it like afraid? Is that an eagerly asked question? Is this like,
the tone, and because
old ass giant going out into the ice floes to die fighting dragons.
That's exactly. Giant is literally a second language to you. This has the sound of an elder who has been waiting. It has the sound of somebody who has been waiting to meet somebody for a very long time. And there's a twinge of hope in the voice.
No, fair enough. Drown will say, death approaches in many guises. And today your friend has arrived. And he's going to step up and bring him what he wants. And he says that in giant, so.
Okay. And anybody that's peering in, you would see.
So I guess what I'm saying is roll initiative.
Yeah, you would see as he heavily pushes off of this giant axe and rises to his feet, gripping this axe in his hands. And yeah, let's roll for initiative. Drown.
Oh, that was a journey.
15.
All right. Cantriel.
17.
Rollo.
10.
Thorgarn.
16.
Talmud.
17 again, or as well, rather.
And
Consistency.
Where did it go? Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So, the batting order is going to be Cantriel, followed by Talmud, followed by Thorgarn, Drown, Rollo, and Frosty. It's not his name.
Snowman.
However, Drown, I'm going to let you take a first action because you were the only one that understood. What is my words? Understooded. You're the only one who understood him. You're the only one who understood what he was asking for, what he said, and you went in there with the intent to give him what he asked for. So you get one free action, one free round.
Okay, cool. All right, then I will head in and spin the Staff of the Sea and have at him.
Alrighty.
That's definitely going to hit. Yeah, I think, let's see. My worst is a 21. Those will probably both hit.
Yep.
Cool. All right, so I'll thwack him once, spin it around, catch him on the side of his knobby knee. Let's see. For 33 points of damage total.
Okay.
And as a bonus action, I will summon a spectral watery tentacle.
Did you just go grab a frost giant?
Yeah, there he is.
I looked, but I recently rearranged stuff so my frost giant's not immediately accessible.
Got so many frost giants out of the Storm King's Thunder packs. All right, I'm done.
Okay, so initiative Cantriel, you're going to be up first.
I'm sorry, I was taking my frost giant and the drown look-alike and they were fighting.
Stop playing with your dolls, V.
Got a first shot, guy.
You know, I want to know where. All I can find is my snow giant.
Cantriel will
I found mine.
I love how we're all like pulling out our minis at this point.
Mine are on the other side of the room.
And it doesn't work. So
Also, while you're figuring out what you're going to do, welcome back to the chat for the first time in a long time. Our old friend, Chameleon Fam. Jose Pereira, Joey P has just gifted you all the magnificent gift of 20 domain dice. Thank you so much for that. We've missed you. The patron's blessing, the patron of domain dice himself shines down upon you all as you immediately gain 20 more domain dice.
Yay!
All right, Cantriel, you're facing
All right,
Frosty the old man, Frosty the old man, as Jeremy has dubbed him.
Wasti and I have some things to say to each other. So she is going to, she's had her fingertips sparking this whole time, anticipating someone of the icy variety needing something of the hot variety. And she's going to produce flame and send it along its merry way to Frosty the old man. And that is going to be a 15 to hit.
That is going to hit.
Oh, nifty. Okay, so then that is 16 fire.
16. Okay. 1 second. Yeah, okay. Anything else?
No, that'll be it for her for now.
All right, Talmud has vanished.
I'm telling you, the leash backpacks, they're good.
All right, Talmud.
Okay. Talmud is going to charge into the room with his maul held high and smash some toes.
All right.
Recklessly, of course. I mean, honestly, how else do you smash your toes?
Are you raging?
Yeah, that's a great idea, actually. So his tattoos will start to grow. I'm catching Jake. His tattoos will start to glow up his arms across his face as they take on a blue hue, and a face will kind of project forward of his own face. Definitely Uncle Orlac. It's about time I get to fight another giant. I've wanted to do this for a long time. He's going to swing. The first will be a 25 to hit.
Yeah, that's going to hit.
Excellent. Swing for the other foot. The other shoe drop. 22 on that one.
22 for the second hit?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yep, those are both hits.
Excellent. Okay. So, do the damage. That's 20 on the first one. And the second will be 19.
So 39 total damage.
To your toes. I know how that feels.
All right. The whole time as everybody's attacking him, he's bracing himself, raising this axe, and he's shouting something in giant. To the rest of you, it just sounds like these deep, guttural, angry things. Drown, you hear him saying,
For too long have I waited for death. I die today honorably.
And there's a glee and a light in his eyes. Thorgarn, you are up. Thorgarn.
So I will join
I thought you were talking to me.
my cousin in...
I haven't done that yet tonight, and I made sure before I said it. It's actual Thorgarn.
I will join my cousin in battle as well as in rage. Follow to typical dwarven mindsets, and giants are our foes. So I will charge in. I will rage. My dice rolls were pretty crap, but I thought you said a 15 hit. So I'm pretty confident in my 18 and 17 to hit.
Absolutely.
And that is a 11 damage and 15 damage as Forge Fane slams into him twice.
11 and 15, 26. Okay.
Now with both of us raging, it'll be disadvantage no matter who you attack.
All right, so Drown, you are up again as everybody is rushing in and slapping at this frost giant's toes and knees and thighs.
Everybody's just piling in on the poor bastard before he can manage one swing.
Pretty much.
It's Aurora. All right. We'll take 2 swings at him, and I'm going to hit him twice with the Staff of the Sea. So he's going to take a total of 29 points of damage.
Okay, so
Drive the butt of the staff into his gut and then swing up toward his elbow.
all right. I think for the most part everybody's been bludgeoning him, but there's been a couple slashes and he's starting to bleed pretty profusely. You maybe even heard a couple bones cracking as you've been striking at him. You've all been beating up on an old man. Anything else, Drown?
No, it's pretty awful. No, I'm good.
He literally asked for it.
He did.
Like, Death, is it you?
Death, is that you? It's about fucking time.
And I hope I live to see that day.
Rollo.
Flits forward and puts her hands up and goes whoosh and casts Firebolt.
Okay.
And there was a 17 to hit.
Yep. Nobody's missed yet. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's going to be or no, I'm sorry, that was a 15 to hit.
Still a hit.
Okay, and 17 points of damage.
Okay.
Fire damage, if it matters. Because fire's safe. Yeah.
It strikes him. Anything else?
I'm going to move so that I'm kind of away from everybody else, but still far away from him.
Okay. Yeah, it's a 30 by 30 room, basically.
Yeah.
And he's more or less, you all rushed up to meet him where he was in the northeast corner in front of this door. At this point, as everybody's been striking him, he's managed to heave his great axe up into the air. And nobody needs a translation. As he brings it swinging down, you just hear and he is going to let's see, we got 3 right up on him, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So his first attack is going to be against Drown. That is a 26 to hit.
Oh my, yes.
At disadvantage.
He does have disadvantage, yeah, from our ghosts.
That is a 15 to hit.
That hits.
Okay, you are going to take 1.
That's my armor class.
2, 3 d12.
I can
14,
soak.
19, 25 points of slashing damage.
As that's coming down, those ghosts, the dwarven spirits from Talmud that are kind of roiling around his ankles, are going to step in front of that axe and absorb some of that. So they can soak up 3d6. Ooh, that's 10 points.
Okay, so
And,
15 points of slashing.
And I'll use my reaction. Drown's spectral tentacle kind of wraps around him protectively and absorbs 9. So I will take 6.
6 points of damage. And he's taking another shot at you, Drown.
Ah!
That is a natural 20.
Okay, well, that'll hit. How about we re-roll that?
Yeah,
Maybe,
re-roll that.
maybe don't crit me, please.
He
let's
still has a
see.
disadvantage though,
Oh, he still has
Oh,
disadvantage.
wait, yeah. Hold on.
because
That
we're
is-
both Path of the Ancients.
Surrounded by
Ancients,
ancient dwarves.
Yep.
That
Path of the
is...
ancestral guardian.
He seems frustrated as his slash barely touched anything. These pesky spirits and tentacles grabbing at it. But you notice up close, all of you, that he's struggling, like he's squinting, trying to focus. So that natural 20 now becomes a 25 to hit.
Well, that hits.
So that's going to be
It's
the
not a crit.
25, 31
It's
points.
6 by 12.
31 points of slashing.
Oof.
As this one appears to connect. And
Okay.
again,
Yep, that got me good.
I have been waiting too long for you, death.
back at the top of the order, Cantriel. This thing has just wailed and done a significant amount of damage to Drown.
Yeah, don't like that. So Cantriel is going to shout over her shoulder, Mother dear, I think you need to get into this as well because Mom's been wandering with us this whole time.
Yep, you did summon her.
Yep, so I will once again, let's have Mom go first. So Mom will go up and go after this fellow. Can't let me use dice for this one. Da-da-da. Okay, so that is going to be, begging pardon, 18 to hit.
18 hits.
Okay, great. Then it's going to be 9 necrotic.
Okay.
And their strength is reduced by 4.
Okay, that's a pretty big blow.
And then Cantriel's going to pull out Sempre and fire off 2 shots because don't like this. Nope. First shot is going to hit with a dirty 20.
Yep.
That's 8 piercing. Second shot hits with a 15.
Just hits.
Just hits. Ooh, cool. And that's 7 piercing.
He's now bleeding profusely. His grip on the axe slips a little bit. Talmud. Unless you have any bonus actions that you want to do. Cantriel.
Shoot, I thought I had something. Okay, nope, that's it for me for now.
All right. Talmud.
Okay. Second verse, same as the first. Wailing away with Gerta Braune upon him. That's, yeah. I rolled a 19 on the dice, so. And second is. Where's my thing? There it is. 20, yeah, 26. Okay. The first is another 20 points of bludgeoning. And the second is 14 points of bludgeoning. It's wailing on his feet once again.
So Talmud. Go ahead and tell me how you bring him down. Just short of a killing blow. How do you bring this giant down to the ground?
Okay, so I've been kind of pummeling at his toes, and finally he kind of pulls his foot back just a bit, and I swing downward and strike just kind of at the instep of his foot, and there's a loud cracking noise as he then rears his foot up. And as he picks that injured foot up off the ground, the next swing from Gerta goes right to the kneecap of the other leg that he has firmly planted on the ground still, and it knocks it sideways out from underneath of him, and he just collapses down like a tree.
He slams back into the wall, trying to grip himself, hold himself up. The stool is knocked askew. You hear bones breaking, and he just drops down, and you see that mist, that pervasive mist, sort of pushes away a little bit. He looks over at all of you. And in a broken common, you hear,
Lord was swift, honorable, and merciful. Thank you. The treasure of the Frostmaiden. She guards it in a vault downstairs. 'Tis a book called the Codicer of White. Only one who passes or is 4 tests of cruelty, endurance, isolation, and perseverance can open the vault. Ukuma, the walrus, will help you.
he reaches back.
You've earned this.
And he pushes against the door that he was in front of. And with the last bit of strength he has, mostly just the weight of his own giant arm, presses against this door and pushes it inward several feet as his hand collapses down. He turns, and in giant, he looks at you, Drown.
Thank you.
And he breathes his last.
And Drown will say, "May your ancestors receive you," in giant, and then just sort of look over toward the door he opened.
Inside that room, you see a treasure pile. There's gold and silver and platinum. There are 4 giant-sized rings, so like this, that are, each one of them looks to be worth about 150 gold pieces. There's a giant-sized shield leaning against the wall made of white dragon scales that's massive and impressive, but ultimately worthless. There is a 2-foot-tall, 50-pound chipped statuette of what looks to be a god. To identify somebody would have to make a history check to see if they, or religion, to see if they can identify what this god is. It's made of ice. There is a peculiar looking jug with several corks on different openings on its surface. Treasurer, there is a total of 1,350 gold pieces, 4,400 silver pieces, and 7,800 copper pieces. Yeah, I will message those over. And actually, Drown, you might know with your knowledge of giants that it's a frost giant god called Thrym. That is the statue. It's part of the list. I'm not going to edit it out, so it's just easier to give it to you. It's not that big of a mystery. But yeah, it looks to be. It looks like this frost giant may have gathered together whatever treasures were left in this fortress and was just waiting for death to take him. There is nothing else of note in this room.
Got to Drown, sitting on watch, sipping on mayonnaise out of the jug.
I was about to say, it's mayonnaise.
Yeah, it's absolutely an alchemy jug. I don't think it's an item that requires attunement, if I remember correctly.
It does not.
So, yeah, absolutely. Anybody that takes hold of it and starts pulling on corks realizes that it produces mayonnaise, and I don't remember everything it produces: water, mayonnaise,
wine, ale,
beer,
mayonnaise, water.
Acid. Honey, poison, fresh and salt water, vinegar, oil.
The only other thing of note besides the giant's body is the massive great axe that he had, but it's much too large for anybody here to wield. How would you like to proceed?
I'm sorry, I just read chat.
I think this is the third time I've played in a campaign that this item has come up. In the first time, one of the PCs died exploring an area in Tomb of Annihilation that this was the ultimate magic item in it. Yeah. And they were so pissed that that's what they died for.
Amazing.
For those that know, it was Marquise. Oh, yeah, he was not happy. Got bit in half by an Allosaurus.
Oh, no.
It was in Tomb of Annihilation.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was a critical hit. I think they were only like level 5 or 6, maybe. All right. So this room is cleared.
All the coins and the small objects get scooped up and put into the wizard's hat.
I would say that you could fit the giant rings. They kind of stretch the hat a little bit, but once you get them past, they just sort of disappear into the hat of holding.
Cool.
Fig's hat might be stretched out a little bit when he comes back. Back out in the hallway, there's an opening to the left. There's another set of double doors to the right. And there's further ahead, you can all now see there are a set of stairs leading down, which is where the frost giant said the Codicil of White was located.
So we can peek around through the opening in the wall, since we're going to have to move past it, right?
Yep. All right.
See what's in there.
You take a look into what is a very large room. About 50 feet east to west, almost 70 feet north to south. You're pretty much in the northeast corner of the room looking into it. You see what looks like, you see that in the middle of this massive hall, there's this 30-foot long, 10-foot wide, and 10-foot high dining table carved from the ice and surrounded by a dozen blocks of ice that look like they were once used as chairs. Wooden braces are up against the west wall holding a pair of 14-foot long bugles made from hollowed out mammoth tusks.
Awesome.
And In the southwest corner is a staircase that goes up. This appears to be what was once the giant's feast hall.
The giant said the codicil is down.
Yes.
It seems likely, and kind of nods toward the mist, that Aurel might be above us. Should we retrieve the codicil first?
Probably. If the last few castles that we've defeated people inside of is any indication, it may all come crumbling down on us the moment that she's defeated.
Seems likely.
So we go down?
Right.
There's another set of doors
There
between
is.
us and the stairway, right?
Yeah, it's directly opposite this opening to the feast hall. There's a set of double doors. Gonna push. What did I just miss?
Sneeze, do a snore again.
We just had a little conversation.
Okay. Are you going to push those doors open too?
Yes.
Can
Look-
we listen at them first?
Cantriel hears nothing
Sure.
on the other side. Inside that room, you see that Frost is covering a trestle table that stands amid rotting barrels and casks in the middle of what used to be a kitchen. You can see storage racks along the wall that are all collapsed into rotten timber, along with everything that would have been in there. The jugs, tankards, drinking horns. A roasting spit is lined with icicles, mounted above a 10-foot diameter iron brazier that is also coated in frost and rime near the back wall. Nothing else of note in here.
Well, to the stairs then, I believe. And we're apparently looking for a walrus.
As you walk into this final room where the stairs are, this room is 60 feet across, but the northern wall is a large hemisphere wall, half circle wall, perched high up on near the ceiling. You see 6 ice mephits staring down at you. They're shifting on their perches and watching you and just chattering quietly amongst themselves, but they make no move towards you. They just watch. Do you continue down the stairs?
Yes.
Okay.
Just kind of keeping an eye on the mephits.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They make no move towards you. Let's see. Where is it? Okay. You follow the stairs down for 90 feet. It's a bit of a chore, as these are giant-sized stairs, so you have to be careful as you are heading down them. I need everybody to make an athletics check.
I'm flying.
Except for Rollo.
25.
Would a natural 20 for a 29 work?
Yeah.
It will not.
No, you
17.
fail. Your neck is broken.
Everybody,
But we have a jar of mayonnaise.
it's a little rough going, but everybody makes it down without slipping or falling. You reach the bottom of the staircase, and you see a massive ice-covered floor. At its widest part, almost 100 feet across, with several alcoves You've come down in from one alcove, and at each of the northeast, southeast, northwest, southwest corners are alcoves. There's alcoves to the east and west, and in between there appears to be doors, but this whole central area is just a massive vaulted chamber. There is you see that the floor is absolutely smooth and gleaming, and as you come down you hear as an elephant-sized walrus goes sliding across the floor, rolls over, kind of lurches forward a bit, and zips across, just having a grand old time.
Aw.
What would you like to do?
Is that a he kind of like points to it and looks at it. I think this is probably the first one that Talmud has ever seen before.
You watch Talmud as it makes another play across the ice, and as its massive form seems to be sliding towards one of the walls, it tilts its head and uses one of its tusks to pivot and swing its body around, and then it just goes does 360s before coming to a slow stop, splayed out directly in front of you about 20 feet. It looks up at you, pushing up on its front flippers.
Oh, there.
I love this walrus.
He's all here fat and furious.
His name is Professor Tusks.
I don't know how to respond to the talking ice surfing walrus.
It spoke in common, right?
It did.
So Drown just says, "Hello, I believe we were sent to find you."
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know anybody was looking for me. I'm Akuma.
I was so tempted to say Akuma Matata.
What a wonderful name.
Welcome to the very, 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 very small part of the Venn diagram where the circle that is Dungeons and Dragons and the circle that is Elf has crossed over, and there's just a little nudge in with Bankin and Raz. What are their names? Rankin and Bass, not Bankin and Raz.
That's what this version is called.
Right, Bankin and Raz.
Like it was the Kiswids.
What were you looking for me for?
Hello, Akuma. We are seeking the Codicil of White.
Oh, the Codicil of White.
An old frost giant upstairs suggested that you might help us.
Oh. Does the frost giant upstairs still live?
No.
Good. That god was looking for an honorable death.
He found it. He died bravely.
He asked me to kill him, but all I could do was give him very aggressive hugs.
Oh, Rhino love hugs.
Well,
Help us.
I can tell you where to go. To the north.
Here. And he indicates a passage that's right to the left of the staircase you're standing at the bottom of.
Oh.
Is the tomb of the Frost Giant Queen, who died long before the Frostmaiden took control. Earthgard said she was buried in a tomb of ice with her most prized possession. To the south is the vault where the servants of the Frostmaiden store the treasures of their faith. To enter the vault, you must pass the 4 tests. It is the only way.
Did the giant say only one person could do it? Or did it say one must do it?
It was more like one must do this.
Okay.
So we go south?
You don't know anything about the weaknesses of Frostmaiden, do you, by chance? Something that'll weaken her? Weaken it? I mean,
If her giant bird was to be killed, she could no longer perform her nightly ritual.
Excellent.
He said if her bed could be killed?
Bird.
Bird.
Giant bird.
That's okay.
Giant
that makes so much more sense.
Jeremy's like, another damn mimic.
Killed nightly rituals. I'm like, what is this girl up to?
You hear Cantriel's feet clicking out of the ice palace, like, nope, done.
did we kill the bird?
You did,
Oh,
yeah, during the fight.
We did.
Yeah, that was the one that Talmud and Drown leapt upon and then teleported back.
You're gonna have to be more specific.
That was the
No, it's the
third
one-
one.
It was the great flying creature we jumped on and killed yesterday.
Yeah.
Gonna have to be more specific.
Well, right. Oh, man. When Rolo says something about should we go south, too many tabs. Okuma says,
Before you can go south, you must first pass the tests. The vault lies to the south. The tomb lies to the north. Each of these doors,
and he sort of spins and indicates that they're sort of at cross angles, but basically on each side there's a door, and a door.
through each of those doors, you will find one of the 4 tests of the Frostmaiden.
Okay.
and we must pass each of them to open the vault.
Do we head north into the tomb first, or do we take these tests and then head south?
We have to do the tests.
Rolo not understand significance of the tomb.
Don't I?
The ancient frost giant queen is buried there. It was she who once ruled this castle.
Do we need to visit her to do the tests? Or just go through the tests?
The tomb has nothing to do with the tests.
Oh, okay. You're very helpful.
You
Yes.
are very small.
Yes. I'm Rolo. Hello.
He gives a bow, which mostly just looks like splaying his flippers out further and dropping to the ground and then pulling back up.
I do not mean to imposition, but you said you give hugs?
I attempted to kill Earthgard. The result was an aggressive hug. I would not want to kill one as small as you.
Rolla really want a hug.
Roll
Just
to hug. No, I'm just kidding.
Death.
Akuma is going to reach out with a flipper, sort of. If you ever seen where seals do that, or they sort of lean on one side and just sort of curl a flipper up towards you, and then if you don't stop him, he's just going to pull you into.
No, Rolo goes in. Just
it's a big
snuggles
old
in.
cuddly kobold hugging a giant walrus.
Yeah.
You get a face full of walrus whiskers.
Oh, scratchy,
If,
but
any-
good.
if anybody's looking for some fan art, that could be something there.
Who had giant talking walrus on their bingo card for this?
Yeah, I wasn't
Not
expecting that
expected.
for tonight.
I did not come into this game expecting to hug a giant talking walrus. But it's exactly what I needed.
So you have 5 choices. You have one of the 4 doors on the sides that lead to the tests, or you have the tomb to the north. Which will you choose? Or you can go back up the stairs. I'm not your dad.
Thorgarn says, we should probably get the tests out of the way. Are the doors, do we have them labeled essentially? We know which
You can
one's
go
which,
look at them if you want.
Yeah.
Let's see. Barrel, of course. Let's see. Okay, just gotta get numbering systems weird when you're basing it on a snowflake-shaped map. So starting with the one closest to you on the northwestern part, the lintel above the door is carved in common with the word cruelty. Across on the northeast side, the lintel has broken off, but lying on the ground next to the door, it's still intact enough that you can read the word endurance.
Ironic.
South of that, carved into the lintel above the door, is the word isolation. And the last door on the southwest, the lintel is partially broken off. The first part of the word has been eliminated, but the last part of the word, ervation, remains. I dropped that in chat just so you can not have any questions.
Wait, Ervation?
You've
told us.
what's his name? The giant.
He said perseverance.
Yeah, he said perseverance. That's why I was like, wait, what?
Sorry, preservation was what I meant to say. That was my mistake.
Okay.
Also ironic.
Right.
Right.
So do all of us have to pass each of the tests, or do the tests have to be passed by one in order to move forward?
You don't know.
No idea.
However,
to the walrus.
oh, you're asking the walrus?
Yeah.
Oh,
I do not know how the tests work. Only that they must be passed. I can tell you that the codicil of white stays locked in the vault. And he stays locked below the ice. None have opened. None have passed the tests.
Well, I mean, I'll point towards the northwest door. It's a test of cruelty. That's not something that most people would want to be able to do.
These are the things that the Frostmaiden holds sacred.
Well, isn't it more the Ice Queen more than the Frostmaiden?
These are the tests of the Frostmaiden,
Oh, okay.
put in place when she took up residence here. Or so the Frost Druids tell me. The Codicil of White has been locked away for a long time. He, frozen below the ice, is a new addition.
Who is he?
Akuma takes a couple of quick flops and sort of slides not quite as fast across the ice, digging one of his tusks into the floor. So he sort of pivots around in a slow 360 in the middle of the room, leans up on one side and sort of points down at the floor with his flipper.
He is he.
Does anybody go over to look?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll fly over.
Okay. Frozen about 4 feet beneath the ice, you see about a 3-foot diameter, slightly greenish orb with a single eye. Victor, the spectator, is frozen below the floor. His 4 eye stalks are obscured as they're sort of hanging limply behind him and that got me. Side chat. The eye stalks are sort of behind his body, and his eye just stares up straight ahead as he is completely encased in ice. Yeah, four doors if you want to choose. Oh yeah, Rolo, you have no idea who this is beneath the ice.
Yeah.
You
That's what I was
see
like,
a green sort of fleshy orb with a big mouth full of sharp teeth, a yellowish eye, and what look like 4 tentacle appendages draping down behind it as it's essentially laying on its back looking straight up about 4 feet below the ice.
We'll assume it good thing he in ice.
No, that is a friend of ours.
Oh no. You want me to thaw him out?
I don't think it's that simple. I think we have to do these tests in order for that to happen.
Oh. For what it's worth, Rolo spent lots of time by herself looking for new groups. Isolation not hard for Rolo.
I too have been there.
I think if I'm going to tackle one of these things, perhaps endurance should be the one that I will go after. If not
Take cruelty.
Oh, fair.
Cruelty is the least that I would be interested in. The rest I feel confident. But perhaps it's something we all do together.
Yes, that my assumption is we would go into each together. Are we splitting up?
Rolo okay with going together? I just thought isolation sounded like we go alone.
I would agree with Rolo, but I am good with attempting it all together.
Then which should we try first?
Maybe get cruelty out of the way.
Drown just nods and then heads toward the cruelty lintel.
I like that idea.
Okay. So you're going to just head towards the door marked cruelty and open it up?
Not going through it until everybody's here. But
Right, but everybody's heading over that way. You're all agreed you're going together?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Just in case.
I was channeling a little bit of a Brea Angar when you guys were picking individual doors, and I was going, oh my gosh.
This is going to be real interesting.
Yeah.
At the party.
Just in case Cantriel should go first. In case it lock people out after person enter.
I have no compunction about a test of cruelty.
As
Turn, go first. Both of you really nice though, not cruel.
who's opening the door?
I'll open the door.
Drill. Okay, so they both are.
They both reach for the door.
Yep.
And all of you see the moment the door is opened as a swirling flurry of snow and ice blasts out of the door and into your face. Extreme cold air begins to swirl around you. The wind is howling in your ears, whipping at your clothes, and you have to shield your faces from the pelting ice. After a few moments, the snow settles and your vision clears, and you find yourself standing in the middle of the tundra at the edge of a camp. It's tense, holding fast against a raging blizzard. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Okie dokie.
Gosh, I thought you guys were going to go one at a time through these doors.
I'm glad we can do it as a group.
I mean, I'm like, there's a total of 5 doors here, 5 people. Are we going to do a 5-way party split?
I do it all the time, apparently. Hey, why not?
The very first time they went into essentially a dungeon in Scribes and Scrolls, in the first or second session, I forget which, they immediately did a 4-way party split. They went to 4 different rooms and got into 4 different bits of trouble.
Oh, we did that in Forge of Fury too.
Oh yeah, you guys did do that.
Talmud and Thorgarn went one way, Cantriel went the other, Fig went in another direction. I forget where Griffith went. But like, wow.
Yep.
Y'all.
Well, on the plus side,
the motto is split the party.
On the plus side, you found out about a powerful magic item. You've found the way into it. You met Akuma, a talking giant walrus. You have found you found Victor. And you think you found
frozen meatballs.
The Frostmaiden. So this can only end well, right?
Sure.
Well, it was absolutely wonderful to have the gang all back together. Well, as much as we could, while M is still off pursuing their personal career goals.
Wildernessing.
But yeah, thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. It was wonderful to see some new faces in chat, new people hanging out. It was nice to welcome back some old friends. Joey P, it was good to see you again. Thank you so much for flooding the Dawnbringers, as usual, with some domain dice. Greatly appreciated. Was
Dad in the chat?
If you're there in lurking in the background, we appreciate you. It's okay if you want to lurk and not be in the chat. That's cool. I believe Ted and Goblin Katie have an announcement about something coming up.
Yeah.
So next Wednesday, 8 p.m. on the Nerdarchy Live channel, we're going to be taking part in a one-shot hosted by Brian Collin of Creature Curation and Infinite Black over on GameFound. There is basically it's like Kickstarter, but it's a new RPG called Vast Grim. We're going to be playing with that rule set in that world. It's going to be fantastic. come check it out. And if you happen to like the game, come. You can support the game on GameFound and get your own copy.
Excellent. What is GameFound? Is that a YouTube channel, a Twitch channel?
Oh, it's like Kickstarter. It's just
GameFound is the platform. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It just from reading the rules and stuff, it's gonna be a great game. Like, it's built for hilarity. So
awesome.
Well, dark hilarity, really morbid hilarity. Honestly.
It's kind of like a sci-fi apocalyptic type scenario.
It's a sci-fi horror game.
Fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, be sure to tune in on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, where I will be here with D&D Jordan Lee, Big Bearded Nerd, our friend Ricky, Gary from FortNerd.com, and our friend Carrie Schultens, a voice actress, as we play Scribes and Scrolls, the Candlekeep Mysteries. I believe it's session 10 will be next Monday. And, of course, next Thursday we'll be back here for some more Dawnbringers as we begin the first test of the Frostmaiden, the test of cruelty. Again, thank you to everybody who tuned in. Thank you for all the domain dice support. We appreciate that. And, as always...
Jake, can I do a shout-out? Because we've got a special guest this weekend on D4.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Hope Lavelle is going to be joining us on D4 this Sunday. And
nice.
She is amazing. She is wonderful. I highly recommend you check us out. It's going to be Sunday at 7 p.m. on twitch.tv/rockpunchatl or twitch.tv/DND.
All right.
Sorry, awesome. Thank you.
Nope. That gave me enough time to remember that I needed to pick somebody to raid. We are going to raid Dimples and Dice, who's playing Dead by Daylight right now. Dimples and Dice is a wonderful person, so be sure to hit them with some MTD emotes. Tell them that Mini Terrain Domain sent you, so stick around. I'm going to get that raid started, and I'll push the button right after we get out of here. But I want to say a final thank you, as always, to Dan, V, Ted, Katie, and Jeremy, without whom it would just be me talking to myself for 3 hours. And I want to point out that not once tonight did I mess up anybody's name. You thought I did, but I didn't.
And you said them multiple times.
Yes, mark your calendars. Mark your calendars, because it may never happen again.
It happened.
With that, we are going to end this stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.
Cantriel.
Walrus.
Cuckoo, Kachu.
Matata.